So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about health checks and how to do them with your rats. Mine are males, so these are things I specifically check because I have male rats. I don't have female rats, but from what I understand, the process is very similar, minus checking for penis plugs or checking the testicles. Okay, I'm gonna film this with the forward-facing camera so that I can make sure I'm in frame and you can see everything. But this is how I perform a health check on one of my rats. They're probably gonna be very wiggly because they haven't had a lot of out time this week. At the time of filming this video, we're dealing with some health issues with my family, so they have not had a lot of playtime out of the cage and they're quite wound up. They're actually right there. That's their favorite place to hang out, is in that little house on top of the cage. So I'm gonna grab somebody. They're gonna be mad at me, but they're good boys, so they'll be tolerant for the most part, even though they won't be happy. So I'll then show you how I do a health check. Caramel volunteered as tribute. So the first thing I like to do is I just pet them like crazy and feel their coat. I also like to run my fingers up and down their tail and feel for any breaks or kinks or anything weird, kind of examine it, make sure there's not any dirty, extra dirty spots. Caramel's pretty good about keeping his tail fairly clean, and he has a kink that's been in it since he was small. It's really hard to see, but you can feel it. It's right about there. Actually, you can see it. Look at that. So, his fur is very smooth. He's neutered, so he has like the softest baby fur. So then the next thing you're going to want to do is just kind of look at their eyes, which you're going to be able to do better than me since I'm making sure he's in film. But you want their eyes to be bright and clean, no signs of discharge, unlike Mr. Sprinkles, who just is lazy and doesn't clean his eyes. But some rats, if their eyes are normally clear of discharge and then all of a sudden they're not, that's concerning. If they're getting so much that they can't wash it away, that's concerning. Those are things to look for. You're also going to want to check their nose. Marshy, when he's not feeling well, his nose gets stained like around the nostrils here, which Caramel will not let me show you right now, but I think I have some photos, so I'll pop them up here somewhere. So he's neutered, so there's not really a lot to check for him there. I'll have to demonstrate that part of the health check with somebody else. But the next thing I do is I kind of pick him up like this, and I feel their belly, and he's not very happy about that because, like I said, it's quite wiggly. But I feel them down here, around their legs and the groin area. Good boy. Look at this good boy. You're so good. And if they're wiggly, just let them wiggle for a minute, hold them a second, pet them, and then try again. It's okay. You're feeling for any lumps or abscesses or growths in that area. That's a common area for my rats in the past. Good boy. Yeah, he's so good. He's going to get himself a Fruit Loop because he's being such a good boy. All right, then the other place you're going to want to do is feel from kind of the armpit all the way down. So I have boy rats, but if you have girl rats, this will be the areas where the nipples are. And you're going to want to make sure that there's not any lumps there or bumps. Kind of feel around their body. And then if they'll let you, you can check their teeth, which I doubt he's going to let me because he's extremely wiggly. Which I can see it, I don't think you can, but his teeth are a nice orange color. That's a normal color for rattos in general. That. All right, I'm gonna use Sprinkles to demonstrate the next part because he's pretty chill. So Sprinkles was born with one eye smaller than the other, and as a result, his eyes get a little gunky sometimes, which it's not super obvious on him right now, but that little bit of darkness around his eyes is extra foreign. He usually washes it away on his own, and I don't worry about it, but sometimes he doesn't. I don't know if he's lazy, if he's just forgets, if he gets excited and wants to go play. But when that happens, I do have some little wipes that I use on his eyes. I use these little dog tear stain pads. These are recommended for a lot of animals. They don't hurt him, and he's pretty good about letting me wipe his eyes if necessary. I'm not going to do that right now because he doesn't really need it. But then the next thing that you're going to want to check is the testicles on a male rat. And you can see they're quite obvious. I feel around, you want to make sure they're nice and normal, that there's no lumps. I know. And they feel even. And his do. Sure. Good boy. Now some rats do have some that feel that'll be slightly uneven. I think that's fairly normal. You just want to make sure they stay that way through the rat's life. Any changes are what you're worrying about. And I always give them a little treat when they're done so that they realize they were good boys and they get rewarded for being picked on a little bit and manhandled. Then the last thing that you'll want to check with your rats is if you have males, you will need to check them once they get about a little over a year. I would say closer to a year and a half, but if they start slowing down and being unable to groom very well, you need to start checking them for penis plugs. None of mine are going to hold still very well for that. I'll see if one of them will tolerate that. I doubt that he will cooperate, but we'll see. So you'll hold them. These are his penises, and you're going to apply gentle pressure. I'm not even touching him, and he's like, please stop. You're going to give me medicines, I know it. And it will poke out. He doesn't have one, but you can keep pressing gently and it will poke out, and then you can remove any plugs that are there. It will literally just look like a white buildup. If that happens, it needs to be removed. It's very uncomfortable for them. When they get older, they can't reach to clean it on their own, and it's not their fault. They can't help it, especially if they're chunky like he is. He's been on a diet for I don't even know how long, and he's still chunky. Here's hoping that he will lose some weight eventually. We're trying. He's also not been feeling real well, which is what kind of inspired this video. Look. Poor buddy. He's on medicine. Hopefully he'll feel better soon. But he's just not feeling himself. And it's just pitiful. So especially if your rats are older, if they have hind leg degeneration, things like that, you definitely need to be checking them for penis plugs because it can prevent them being able to pee, which is just not good. You gonna say hi now? You smell the Fruit Loops, which you can't have. I'm sorry. He's like, I want it. They're literally right here off camera. So he's like, I want some, but you can't have it. I'm sorry, buddy. I'll find you something you can have. Maybe something small. So that's how I do a health check on my boys. The other thing you can do is kind of look in their fur for any mites or lice or things like that. My boys haven't been exposed to that, so I don't really have an issue there. You won't be able to see regular mites with your eye. You will just have to watch for itching. I have a video of that I will link in the description and put up here somewhere. That is the general process that I do. I have had entirely too much caffeine today. The last thing that I want to show you in this video is how I weigh my rats. I do this regularly as part of my health checks. This particular clip, I don't remember if it was specifically for health checks or just to update my records or because I was monitoring their weight for something else. But it is still a critical thing, and it can really be important to tell if your rats are sick, maybe when they're not showing any super obvious symptoms. It can help you tell if their diet is off. It can help you to tell if their teeth are not doing well. For example, I had a rat previously that every time he needed his teeth trimmed, he would drop weight. So for a lot of reasons, it's a really good idea. In my case, I have an inexpensive digital kitchen scale that I got from Walmart, and I have done this with various objects sitting on top of it. I've used a plastic container. I am currently using a little metal bucket from the Dollar Tree, but you can use anything that will sit on your scale flat. Just make sure you zero out the scale with the item on it before you put a rat in. Otherwise, you have to subtract the weight for your item, and that's just a pain in the butt. So just skip that step. Zero out the scale with the item on it. And you want to make sure that the scale can weigh in grams, as this is how most places are going to need their weight to dose medications or things like that. It can be really helpful for you to be able to tell the vet, yeah, I noticed that they dropped 30 grams in a week, or whatever. That has not happened here, but just an example. And that can be really helpful for diagnosing potential health issues. So there you go. So first you're gonna see me zeroing out the scale. You turn it off, put the thing on it, and turn it back on, weighing Marshmallow, and then off camera I'm writing down his weight. Next comes Sprinkles. His was really easy to see. And then last is Caramel, and he's a little more feisty, so I had to hold my hands over it. So we're going to talk about how to check your rat's body shape for weight. Now this isn't going to give you a number, obviously, but just like people, rats come in different shapes and sizes. So what you're going to want to do is hold the rat up under the arms with their legs preferably not touching anything. If your rat's too wiggly, you can try letting their feet sit on a table, but you need to lift them to their full length. And then you're going to look at the sides of their body from their armpit all the way to where their little hips start. And what you want to see is a straight line down the sides of their body. If there's a curve inward, then your rat is considered underweight. If it's straight down, it is a healthy weight. And if it curves out like a ball or a C shape, then that is overweight. You don't want an overweight rat, as this puts strain on their bodily organs and it's just not healthy for them. It's hard on their kidneys especially, and in males that can lead to a lot of health problems later. So trying to keep your rat's weight at a certain number isn't the important thing. It's about what their body is shaped like. If there's something I missed, put that in the comments below too, so that other people can find it and it can help them to perform really thorough health checks on their rats. Health checks are just so important, as they really are the #1 way that you can tell if your rats are coming down with something or getting sick. And as most of us know, they're so prone to respiratory infections and other illness. And being able to do a quick health check regularly is just one way to help head that off and prevent your rats from getting really, really sick or waiting till something's too late. So it's really important. Thanks for watching. Bye.